Hello viewers, Power here to review the Kamen Rider Revice DX OsutoderuHammer50. Botchism! So yeah, this is the secondary weapon that they gain. I don't know. This is surprisingly the earliest we've gotten a secondary weapon. As you can see, Revice and the Revice Slasher. Again, I botched the name terribly because, you know, I typically pronounce it as Osotu. Gosh, I break up the O and Su. I skip the toe and just go OsutoderuHammer50. So, there's Revi badly photoshopped with the hammer that just doesn't look right. I mean, maybe Revi's actually holding it, but like Vice is more convincing. Revi is everything it can do. There's Revi with the Revi Slasher. Obviously, Vice can use it too. Yeah, it's a pretty compact box. So here we have the hammer out of the box. I was literally going to say its full name once again, just so that I can stick it in my head. But I'm Osutoderu. There. Yeah, I like the different color scheme it is. Obviously, for the most part, the base of it's pretty typical. It's this like, I don't even know how to describe this to blue, because I'm just that sucky with colors. But I really do like that now its main secondary color is like yellow, and then there's this metallic blue paint there, which I really like. The old trigger button. And then there's some purple. It's really weird, but you'll get it. Obviously, you get the end button there. And then you get a pull tab, right so, because just like the Buster 50, this just takes LR 44s. And the speaker's right here. And obviously, this is a big button for transformation purposes. So, trigger button, you get a singular attack. That's basically it. Forgot to mention, here's the stamp for the hammer. Obviously, it does actually fit within, like, you know, the traditional, like, you know, does work. It's just obviously it's just pressing a button. Obviously this is not magnetic, so it won't work with the Revice driver. So now to actually do the finishers of the hammer, press the bottom button and then press the trigger, then press the bottom again. So we get the standby, press the trigger. So basically, the OsutoderuHammer50 basically can like bonk elements around the surrounding area. So then you can throw those elements kind of thing. It's a really random gimmick, but it's fun. Obviously, because this thing has no way of detecting, like, oh yeah, this is a solid, obviously the only way you can do it is by pressing the trigger. So if we do that again, and press the trigger twice, so basically the word that says when you press the trigger is obviously like what that specific object is, mostly in Japanese. So obviously the first one is like car, which is why it said driving. This one is obviously drink. Phew, random. So obviously now we got a train. And I was dumb and did not realize the second one is literally called drink. So let's do the fourth one. So obviously Sochiki being vacuum. And the last one. The most upbeat standby. So obviously nature's technically the most prominent one because that's the most easiest one they can do, because obviously they can just hit a rock or a tree and that will initiate nature. Or like fire and ice. Like, so it's, I think from what I know, nature's the only one they actually do. And obviously we do have functionality with vice stamps, as you can see right here. I'm actually not going to show all the vice stamps. We will just show Rex. So you activate the vice stamp and you slot. It's kind of like the a Gundaphone, however, just upside down. So obviously you want to align the two sensors to each other, and obviously from these posts here, that's where you want to like slide the vice stamp down. So just do this like so. So you get a verbal version of the nature standby. So it's really just the same traditional finisher, it's just now you get the name attack version of the vice stamp calling out and such. So, who gets favoritism? Megalodon. So again, you just simply align the light sensors. And you don't have to hold it up, you just have to at least... You don't have to keep the vice stamp to the sensor, because most people just, you know, hold it down there like so, and then pull it out. Obviously, I keep it at the sensor, because obviously there's a light pattern and such. But obviously, if you want to see all the rest of the vice stamps, watch the demo. Now, obviously, last but not least, compatibility with the Buster 50. Obviously, you want to keep this in axe mode because you're going to transform this into a sword of some kind. So simply press this button like so and turn this up like so. Then you're going to go in and fold out the blade, and as you can see here, the blade is completely purple to match, I guess, the purple on the Buster 50. Make sure this thing is actually on, and make sure this is actually on. So then when you slot this, because obviously this utilizes the empty slot up there, and this somewhat slots into the vice stamp. This, like, it mostly obviously connects from up here, because the vice stamp selection is, like, I think just slides into like the first half. But anyways, sliding it like so. Let me do that again because this thing this thing was misaligned. Okay, so clicking them both together, we failed. This thing is kind of tricky to trigger. So it announces itself as the Revice Slasher. Obviously it lights up, and obviously from here, obviously from this design in here, it's again supposed to be a 50. Like, I get it. It's not as bothersome as the Revice driver, but like, I don't know. I don't really think it's necessary. Stuff that this can do when this is combined is actually, you can actually just continue punting this, but you can't press the true button. Obviously, this thing does have a new singular attack. And then gun mode obviously doesn't do anything. And then just the size, geez. As you can see from the size of this thing, it's like the same size as like the Naginata mode of the attached caliber. So as that falls, like, again, here's like a comparison to like the Cross Saber. So, you know, this is definitely like, you know, the standard size that we will typically get for these stuff. So obviously to activate the finisher, again, just pull the, whatever the stamp is called, and then simply stamp it. So we get a new standby. Just like so. And just for the fun of it, obviously as shown, this can actually, they do use other vice stamps in this mode. Obviously, it's not really much just because it's mostly the same as the axe mode. It's just that, you know, you get Revive by Slash now. But like, other than that, like, I like the Revive Slasher. Like, it's definitely like a nice, like, double-bladed sword. Definitely. And it's just really fun to like hold together. And, you know, I think the colors work for the most part and such. Like, it's just fun swinging around for the most part. So yeah, I really do like this overall. So to take this out, to take the hammer out of the Buster 50, you actually press this button, because this button actually doesn't do anything because this section is holding down this area. So as you can see, like from here, this part's just sliding, so this is like unpressable. So simply just press the yellow button here and then pull this up, and then you get a disconnecting sound. Oops. So this is how you simply, you know, form it back as a hammer, and now you can go back into dual wielding the two, which obviously, as you can see from here, the size comparison is, you know, really obvious. Oops. Overall, let's actually frame this first of all. My thoughts on the Osuderu Hammer 50 is that it's, you know, it's a nice like additional weapon within the toy line. I think for the most part, like, again, this is kind of like the Psycho grade and the Progrise Hopper blade. It's not as necessary because, like, you know, it really only gives the Revice Slasher, or like the Buster 50 functionality. And then, like, you know, it's vice stamp compatibility. You know, it's not really as much. It just allows the vice stamp to say its name. But like, other than that, I think it's fun. I like the nature sounds. I think the nature sounds are probably the only selling point of it. And like, you know, I never got a hammer weapon before because obviously I didn't pick up the attach breaker, the Gashcon breaker. I'm pretty sure those two are the same size, but I do like the gimmick of this one. Like other than that, like I just think it's a pretty fun weapon overall. Um, Hopefully with this one you can actually find it in the aftermarket. I think this one is a lot more easily obtainable than the Onibuster 50, and this one you can get for like $20 or so, I think, or at least like 30. But just like the gun to phone, this thing will continue on with the next reviews. So, whoop-de-doo, this is Power, and I'll leave you people. Bye.